Welcome to Tough Bill's Garage. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to guide you right through on how to take your intake manifold off your 2018 through 2024 Mustang GT. So stick with me because it's about to get real. Let's do it. What I like to do, and the reason for it is because there's a lot of sensors we're going to be unplugging. We're going to be unplugging the fuel rail as well, so there's going to be fuel all over the damn place. Ordinary, to be safe about it, we're going to unplug the negative battery just to make sure that we do not get any sparks that will start a fire. Negative wire is off the post. Then you're going to have a 10 here and a 10 here. You've got to remove those and pull your oil cap off, even though it's not as big as, everybody thinks the oil cap is, and it can't go over this. It can. You're going to go ahead and lift it up from the studs and pull it completely up, so that way you can have the two ones that actually sit in nipples. You gotta take those out. After you guys have gotten done taking off your top beauty shield, you go see your nice, beautiful gate. I'm gonna go ahead and stick my oil cap back on. You're gonna wanna take off your intake completely. I have an oil catch can on mine. If you don't, then you should have the normal stupid baffle filter thingy right here. You're gonna go ahead and take that completely off. I like to just get it out of my way. This is an 8mm if you don't want to use a flathead or Phillip. With the electronic cord, it does have a red tab, which usually means I gotta press it out and then push it in, pull it out. You're gonna wanna release it from that so that way you don't tug on it on accident. This one right here, you should have actually two tabs that hold this one on, and then you're gonna push that button in, pop it out. I'm gonna get this completely out of the way. Next basic thing that we're gonna be removing is all of the vacuum lines. Don't get freaked out when you do hear vacuum come out of your main one, which is right here, because it does have a check valve. This thing does open and close to let air in and out. It is connected to your brake booster. We need to take off this whole entire line right here that comes down and comes into here. We gotta get this spider out of here. The best way I can really tell you is go ahead and push into that tab, and you will hear that noise right there. You want to take off this one. Now we have those two out of the way. We're going to want to take off the purge solenoid, but hold your horses. Your purge solenoid is very, very simple. It has two green little tabs at the back side of it. What you're going to want to do is pull them up, grab both tabs, and push them out. And once you do that, your green tab will start to move outward, and go ahead and pull her off her bracket. And you can do it with the other side if you want, or if you just want to get it out of your way, you may do that too. I like to just pull both and take off the wire connector that's in the back. It does have a white tab on it. You're going to pull that up and press it in. Same green tab as up front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take her completely off her bracket and pull her off. We're going to want to take off this bracket here. Both brackets on each side that hold your heater hose on. We're going to want to take those off, and both of those are 10mm. I'm going to take that line off the bracket. I'm going to bring my heater hose around this bracket. I'm gonna pull up on her. Feel free to take your injector insulators off as well. I want to do the same exact thing to the other heater hose on the other side. And the cool thing about these also is they have a R and an L on the other one, so you can't really get them mixed up either. Now that we got both heater hoses off and we have both of holders for the heater hose, also keep in mind if you accidentally put it down somewhere with the other one, this one does have an R on it, and this one does have an L on it. If you have a catch can on your driver's side, you're going to want to take off the hose that connects to your upper throttle body. And that is pretty damn easy. It has a green tab if you have the JLT. I do. And since we're on This catch can on this side definitely works. I haven't checked this thing since I got back from California. I checked it when I was in California, but there was no oil in it. It barely has any oil at all in it, which is a good thing. That means I don't have a lot of blow-by. Back over on the driver's side, what you're gonna wanna do is start unplugging your fuel injectors because we gotta pull these babies out. You're also gonna wanna take off your wire that goes to your fuel sensor as well. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna get a towel. And the reason for a towel, even if you haven't driven the car, you're gonna wanna put a towel underneath this for sure. Stop as much fuel spraying out as possible. There will be fuel that does come out of here. I'm pretty sure my system still has pressure in it. I got one of these babies, and I'm gonna put it all underneath here. Now keep in mind, it will spray probably at your face. If it does get in your eyes or anything, please wear glasses, sunglasses, or whatever, just to avoid it from hitting your face, but I like to just back off. We're pretty much done disconnecting everything on this side. We need to hop over to the passenger side. As far as getting this hose off, there is two ways if you have the tool to do it from this section here. It does go inside of it, and it pretty much has like these tabs that actually go over the flange, and that tool that you use actually pushes in those tabs to avoid hitting the flange, and it will allow you to back that hose completely off. The other way to do it is taking it off by the high pressure fill pump, what is hiding underneath this girl. We don't need to take off the high pressure fill pump. You definitely don't need to take off your insulator if you don't want to, but we do got to remove this hose here. This hose has to be taken off. Ordinary for us to remove the intake runners. There is a yellow tab on this one. And this one, you push it in and push them out. And that will release the lock. Okay. At the actuators themselves, we have a few cords. We have one here, one here. We got a few vacuum lines that are attached to it as well. And there is one more cord, but it's back here. We can't really take that one off until we get the intake runners out because you can't see it. So I'm gonna start unplugging these, white tab, pull the white tab up, and pull her out. The next step is to remove the fuel rail. For your fuel rail, you have one bolt there, you have another one there, and if you don't know where they're completely at, you can always check my runners. There's two in between, and then you have one there. We come on to the driver's side, and we have the same concept here. You have one there, and then you have one there. Now that I got all of the bolts out of the fuel rail, because they will not come out unless you move them back to back. Now, your heater hose will be in the way. Don't stress about it, don't worry about it. Heater hoses are pretty damn easy to just rotate them under. And if you don't know Coyotes or Fords or Dodges or anything that uses plastic at the end by the heater core, be really careful. That we can finally see clearly now that the rain's not falling. Usually I like to grab a vacuum and vacuum out as much dirt as possible because you don't want this stuff to go into your chambers. It's actually really bad. What we're gonna do actually is I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna grab my evac vacuum and I'm going to clean this out. And before I do so, as you guys can tell, there's a lot of dirt back there. Now that we're here, I might as well just show you. You have a bolt here, you have a bolt here, you have a bolt there, you're gonna have one there, you have one there, and then you have one back there as well. I went ahead and vacuumed as much as I could out from the holes. You're gonna need an extension with an 8mm to grab. So 8mm You're most likely, if you don't have a strong enough gun, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go around and just give them a little bit of a loosen. Not a big problem. Be really careful with this one. And like I said, be really careful. Two more. You're gonna have your throttle body, same plug. Push it in, take it off. Now back here you should have one more outstanding fillet. And as soon as I get it unplugged, I'll show you guys which one you have to take out. Right there. Right underneath that actuator. As you guys can tell, it's a mess. You see all these oil spots here. They are easily to be wiped off. But this one over here is really dark. I know that it's been leaking from that one and this one. A little bit on that one. These look like they've been leaking just a little bit too, but we are replacing the gaskets on that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum out all of this, clean up all of these, and get them really cleaned. I will come back and show you how cleaned I got them, so you have a preference of how clean they have to be. But if you look into my intake runners, you can tell that they're caked, like nasty caked. Now we can see the valves. See how disgusting they are. Oh yeah, look at all that buildup down there. These look okay. They don't have any much buildup, but those over here definitely do. The passenger side doesn't look that bad at all. I'm gonna come back when it is time to show you how clean I got it and when it is time to put everything back together. So at least you have a take apart guide and you have a put together guide. I just wanted to show you guys how clean I got the whole entire surface. It's not 1000% perfect. As you can tell, there's still some dirt spots that I can't get them. They're just embedded into the aluminum, which is fine. I got them pretty much clean. I cleaned all the runners. So all the runners are now pretty clean. I did this side too, but why do I have the cloths in here? Well, if you guys can tell, I haven't cleaned this side yet. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this side. And if you guys are wondering what I'm using to clean them, and the real safest thing I can tell you is seafoam and a towel. That's all you really need to clean the journals. That's all you really need. You don't need to go way down there because remember, your fuel injectors do that for you. You don't need to go ahead and clean all that out. But if you want to clean the runners of it, you can, which I mean the sidewalls. You can definitely do that with either using seafoam on a towel and just kind of rub the walls a little bit. I used a nylon brush, which you want to make sure you don't use anything harsh or hard on it because of the point this thing goes pretty far. So if it hits that valve, you don't want to scratch that valve up. Use something that isn't tough and very like a toothbrush, anything like that. You want it to be soft just in case it hits that valve. But I'm going to go ahead and do this side. We got to replace the sills on that girl, and then we're going to put her back in. And then I have my fuel injectors down here. Then I'm going to replace the bottom sills. And we are taking off all of these girls because they're leaking. Here's the part number, and it's going to be MS97215. This is pretty much ready to be put back on. So that's all I'm going to do. Is we got to back this up till we can plug in that one I was telling you not to forget. It does have a lock on it, so make sure you lock it in place. And for me, I would rather lock these in place too, since it's going back in anyways. Okay, remember what you had to do for that side. because you got to maneuver it. Back and over, and she'll sit in place. You don't have to really struggle to move it or anything like that. You don't have to do anything weird with her. Basically, you're gonna run this side in, that side in, go from the back, come up to the front, go from the back, and come up to the front. That way, everything sits perfectly flat. And make sure that she's in place. Then we're gonna change out the fuel injector O-rings, get the fuel injectors back in, and start reconnecting the whole front side of the motor. So basically, like I told you, you're gonna run in the first middle one. So the intake runners are now on. We're gonna go ahead and jump to the fuel injectors, get the O-rings put on the bottom. I have Motorcraft's O-rings, but they don't look as small as the ones that are on there. And they say that these are for the top and the bottom, but I'm pretty sure it's for those and not those. What you're going to do is you're just going to clean around the surface where the new ring is going onto. And then I am going to get my Vaseline from the fridge. Let me go get the Vaseline. I don't want to cut it right here or here. I want them to go on smooth, and I want them to go in the hole smooth. And yes, I'm working in my clean pajamas, but you know, we gotta work, man. Why go to work in pants and jeans when you can go to work in your pajamas? Why not? So that's pretty much all we gotta do, is just put your O-rings on, get them all cleaned up and new, and then I'll meet you back at the car. Remember, your heater hose on that side gets in the way of the injectors going down. We have to push the injectors and hopefully not harm the heater hose. You want to make sure that all your injectors seat. Now, we got to plug this back in. So you're going to grab your hose that you unplugged. Make sure that it's in. And if you're not sure, always pull up. We got to do the same thing on this side. We got to hook up the fuel. Now at this point, before you put your sleeves back on, go ahead and plug your injectors back in. And then you're going to plug your sensor back in. We can put the insulator back on that side now, because like I told you, it will have the L. And it has the arrow going front. That's the front of the motor. You're jumping over to our heater hoses brackets. You gotta put left over here. Heater hoses are on the brackets now. What we need to do is we need to get the evap system all back on. Same thing with the other side. Get your connector, plug it back in. Your throttle body connector. I'm gonna go ahead and put, the next thing that we have to do now is I need to get this girl back up here. Plug that back in. We're gonna be doing a lot more stuff to her. I can't wait for the little tedious things that I'm going to be doing. It's gonna be a very big project once I start getting into it, and I'm gonna enjoy this. And I thank everybody that, you know, put their votes down and told me to keep the EcoBoost, and I haven't went big turbo yet. I understand. The EcoBoost was slowly starting to pick up a lot of miles on it, and I knew if I didn't make the jump now, I was never going to get anything for that car. And that car would have just been, you know, eventually one of these, because I was eventually going to rebuild it. But as I have a 5.0, I'm definitely going to be rebuilding a whole brand new 5.0. And we're going to be doing, obviously, a 5.0 performance engine, which I'm going to have to order part by part. But I can't do that until I save up money, because these engines are not cheap. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and turn it over. I'm going to say my goodbyes. I'm going to go ahead and throw my cover back on and call it a night. The last thing that you're always going to want to make sure that you always do is make sure that you connect your mass airflow sensor, or you're going to have a code in the car. And trust me, that won't be pretty. We are back off with the 2018 Mustang GT, ladies and gentlemen. I had a lot of fun sharing this DIY with you guys. If you guys have any more things that you guys want to learn about the 5.0 Coyote, drop them down in the section down below. You know where to do it at. If you like this video, though, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you are a newcomer, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. After all, it is totally free, because you don't want to miss out on the previous videos I'm going to be doing with the Coyote. It's going to be several other cars on the channel too. If you guys don't know what I do, I am a mechanic, and I do this for a living. So I do several other cars on my YouTube, whether it be shorts or I do them as a video just for you, because I want you guys to spend as little money as possible. Try to help you as much as I can. If you guys want to know how to time these Coyotes, well, stick to. Just trust me. I don't want to give out any more information. I'm not gonna do it. There's gonna be a lot more things I'm gonna be willing to do to this Coyote. There's gonna be some cosmetic things that I gotta do to the outside of her, and there's gonna be some new stuff. I'm not gonna mention what yet, but if you want to see them, remember, smash the subscribe button. It is totally free. Like, you don't have to pay a dime, a nickel, a penny. A moment is all I need of you just being here, watching the videos, showing me some gratitude. Just make sure that you drop that comment down in the section down below, because I do read all my comments every single day. It doesn't matter what. I also, if you guys have any other things that you guys want to show me, ask me, or tell me, there's always another way you guys can. You guys can email me at crazymustanggtman@gmail.com, and there is that there for you too. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys love this video. I love you guys once and for all. I'll see you guys when we come back and we do the next thing. Let's do it.